They can't get a good feel for this one. They believe there's an MCL, but they don't know what else. It's ugly on tape. I know that. It's a clean play. It's a legal block, and it's a clean play. I got no problem with what happened on the play. It's just a bad result of a botched snap, and that caught his eyes, and his eyes didn't go to where they should have been to help defeat the block. There's been a little adjustment since Coach Bowen took over. He's still in charge of the defense, and I saw him signaling and doing things on the sideline. So I think he still has most of that responsibility, if not all of that responsibility. But there's been some adjustments that they've made on offense, and quarterback being one of them personnel-wise. But the offensive coordinator is still in place, and so not drastic changes, no. Fun player to watch. We talk about him often because he just shows up, and he's a guy that enjoys playing the game. He plays it hard. You don't stick a guy in there on 4th and 2 and hand him the ball if you don't think he's capable, and he's going to give you everything he has. So like the Peters beard. Like a lot about him, kind of guy that every head coach would like to coach. You got 3 of your top 4 defensive tackles who were out Saturday, with Garcia, Jensen, and Cousin being on the shelf, going up against an offensive line that guards and tackles averaged about 335 pounds or something like that, and could get after you. Then you lose the Big 12's 3rd or 4th leading tackler who's right up the middle, and you're playing with arguably without your best cornerback in Nigel. They got a big effect on the outcome of a game, and how well your team plays, and how accurately you get lined up, and how fast you fit things. And me standing behind the podium, okay, me getting there as far as leverage on them, that's a big difference. And when you're not seeing it at game speed, you're not used to it, you don't get to that spot, you end up here, and it gets 335 pounds, you're not going to be very successful very often. So the injuries, they play a heavy load on us. Kane and Alton are both taking reps with that one unit, and how that breaks down, we'll see by how they practice this week. But either one of those guys have very little game experience. We all know that Mike Linebacker was a concern going into the season. We had to adjust quickly because we weren't playing successful enough, and we put Jevin in there, and now we're back to where we were to start. And those guys got to pick it up as fast as they can and play winning football for us. I will say that Kane did some positive things and probably grew in the process of Saturday's game against a very talented outfit. Ken Lynn the same way. Finally got extended snaps, did not play well for 2 series, and after that played pretty good football for us. We're getting too much practice at it. I can say that. This group has always bounced back well, if you will. Saturday post-game team meeting is the chance to start on that. I've always looked at it as the opportunity to put one under the covers, not completely to bed, but under the covers, and get started on the next week. And I think we did that. Sunday you come in and you just teach your tail off. Whether it's stuff that's just mental between the ears, motivational, or it's constructive fixes that are going to need to take place on the field. We did that yesterday, and they were bright-eyed, and they were responsive, and they gave good effort on the practice field. There's a lot of guys walking the hallways today, and if they're not interested in preparing and victory for the next coming one, they're not in this building on the day off, and they're in the building. We worked extensively on it last week, last 2 weeks. And here was my approach, Bobby, and the approach of the team. One, I gave them a blueprint for the things that I think help instill confidence. I asked them to lay it out there too, and give themselves a blueprint. We talked about things, a practice checklist, if you will. We talked about psychological and motivational things. We talked about taking knowledge to the field. understanding and improving, and then mastering techniques and so forth, and all that process leads up to that confidence level. Saturday's always the ultimate test, and finishing that. And now one of the things we're really looking at and trying to improve upon is how do we make sure that good from the practice field carries over to good on game day. We all know bad on the practice field is only going one direction. Okay, it's going to be bad on game day. But the good that we're getting on the practice field that's not fully carrying over, we're trying to figure out why, and trying to analyze it as a staff and trying to get the players' feedback as well.